Hey everyone, this is my reaction to the 92nd episode of Hunter x Hunter. And last episode, we've had the birth of our king. It's definitely not a good thing for us. And going to Killua aren't exactly in a great place mentally. You know, tears were shed and it's not a great mood right now, honestly. Maybe things will pick up eventually, but for now we're not exactly in a cheery mood, so not exactly a good situation in any respect, really, if you think about it. But, you know, we're not dead yet. We have a chance to defeat the enemy. Hopefully. We're here, right? So we'll get something figured out. We got some potential alliance thing going on because we had one of their members come over to us to ask for help. So something could come of that. I think last episode they were talking about him meeting up with Netoro, and he hasn't quite done so yet, so maybe we'll do that in this episode. I'm pretty sure that was mentioned, so yeah, let's get into the episode and see what ends up happening. So, 3, 2, 1, play. And that's what I'm talking about. Going at a bit of a low point. And Killua not much better. That debt. And then you'll be gone. That's what he thought. That's what he said last time. Might just be misremembering though. And there's the king. Your reign of terror will be short-lived, hopefully. Why do they have to show Kite in the intro so much? I never really noticed, but that one shot of Kite almost like he gets demolecularized and reformed into something else. That's actually a bit concerning. Yeah, not surprising. One wish and two promises. That almost makes it sound like it's going to be a pretty important episode. Right, that was the motivation. Right, so we are getting into that. That's a nice building. I know we've seen it before, I'm pretty sure, but it's a nice building. Okay. I was wondering why you had that razor. Why would you do that? It looked so cool. I thought if anything he was going to shave his beard. But, okay, actually does look pretty good still. Never mind. We really did just bring him back. He almost looks out of place in this environment. I think you look alright in it. Yes, the kanji for Kokoro. We see it in the opening a lot. Oh, it's his serious shirt. Gotcha, that's why it looks so important in the opening. Are we gonna have a bit of a sparring match? Oh, yeah, Nentaro is pretty powerful. How do I compare to your king? Almost word for word what I said. I can almost feel the power from here, so it's pretty strong. Okay, that is not what I wanted to hear. Okay, you're not gonna tell me he can't even take on a royal guard. I'm not gonna believe that. That makes one of us. Netaro's gonna die in this arc, isn't he? He might be one of those characters that wants that kind of death for himself. Fighting a truly powerful opponent. An old acquaintance. Who are we talking about? Maybe Gon's father? That'd be something, wouldn't it? Jing, I think his name was. Jing, something like that. Yeah, that's a nest. It looks as pleasant as always. So how long does it take to get here from there? Because we just kind of popped on over. Yakumon's a big number. He does not look at all intimidating. Oh yeah, the koala. Well, I guess we got the medical stuff over in time. That's an interesting duo. Man, the way things have changed, we're actually trying to save their queen's life. Man, that's some loyalty. As expected, the most human one. Yeah, we big variety here. Maybe diversity is not so great after all. This would be really difficult. No matter how trained you are as a medical doctor, this is a very different body to deal with. You know, like a doctor working on an animal, you know? That kind of thing. I mean, I'm not going to be too heartbroken if we can't save the queen. We are communicating secretly. An interpreter. Wow, even now worried about the king that doesn't care about her. Aside from personality, not really. That I could see. That's a lie. Talk about an ungrateful child. We would rather him not do that. A scene just full of mixed feelings. Like, these people are the enemy, and yet the scene's clearly trying to make me feel for them. Yeah, no regrets. No regrets the mass murder you guys did. I have a couple names I could give them. And that's that. So we couldn't save the queen. Where do we go from here? I feel bad for Colt, but pretty much everyone else in this insect army I just do not care about. Yeah. I try not to think too much about Colt's origin story. That's definitely true, I guess. What? Is there another baby in there? For those that have no idea what they could be talking about. Or is she just not dead yet? Oh, that's so gross. So... Yeah, what? That... That is absolutely tiny. That... That is definitely a baby, but it looks extremely human. I... I'm not sure what to make of that. Uh... That is so tiny. That is... Huh, I really wasn't ready for this. What are you thinking? You're not gonna kill that little baby. The title. There's only one correct answer to this cult. Okay. Fair enough. I was actually worried for a second he was gonna walk over there and just bam, no word said. I really thought he might for a second. I'm glad that's not how that went. Okay, that I did not know. That's cool. How big is that? It's like the size of a my bottle cap. I be careful not to squish it. This episode just it's trying to make me cry. I can tell the episode's trying to do that. How you holding up, going? That well, huh? That's good to hear. Really? Okay. He always has been pretty good at bouncing back. Please stop saying that, Gone. Good to know. All I'm gonna say is be prepared for anything when you get there. Fair enough. Speaking of, where's Leorio? I haven't seen him in a while. Oh wow, Kite. Kite is a cool guy. Kite in his cool poses. Don't be raising death flags like that. Back to home sweet home. So are we gonna run into anything unpleasant down here? Definitely hear sounds. That looked like an attack of some sort. Was it from... yeah... whatever that is now. Did that woman just get killed? I'm not gonna call you that. Yeah, that could be a problem to deal with. Blood on his mouth, too. The expanding is happening. The Glidin King. So while they all trying to get their own fancy king titles now. Yeah, that is really bad. One of these places was bad enough to deal with. This is so much worse. I can't imagine how long it will take to hunt down all these would-be kings. Like I'm watching Game of Thrones all over again. Kings everywhere. You guys are in trouble. You have no idea what's about to happen to you. Yeah, next time we to that place, it is done. Everyone dead. Or wishing they were. That's what these chimeras do. One thing this arc has been good at, this overall Chimera Army arc thing, is that whenever you think things are bad, whenever you think things couldn't possibly get worse, they do. It's like, oh, this big old nest of these horrible things, that they're all so powerful, there's so many of them, and they just keep getting stronger and stronger as they experiment and discover Nyan users and incorporate that into their strength. You know how it's pretty bad? Well, now we're spreading out. We're gonna make more of them. Have fun with that, guys. So, yeah, that's this arc, right? So, yeah, that was the 92nd episode of the Hunter x Hunter. And yeah, like I said, Gon is definitely at a low point, but he sprung back at some point. He didn't even have that much screen time in the episode, but still, he popped back up, ready, determined to succeed, and that has always been one of Gon's strengths. His determination, his ability to bounce back from adversity and all that. So it's good to see him not too down for too long. That's certainly a good thing. And Colt did meet with Netoro, and it actually was pretty positive. Like, I wasn't sure how well that would go, but it seemed to go pretty well. We talked to him. He immediately dispatches like a full-on medical unit over to the nest, and to try to save the queen, right? Although they're really not in that good of a position to help, because I'm sure they're not that familiar with their biology, and also she's pretty far gone anyway, so it's questionable whether or not anything could have even been done, really. But before we even got over to that, we had some stuff with Netoro, and Colt just straight up really building up the king and the royal guards, because not only did he say that Netoro had like no chance against the king, he said that he probably couldn't even take on the royal guards, which I find that hard to believe, but if that is true, it would explain why Kai didn't have much of a chance. And Kai had the additional handicap of trying to protect Gon and kill him, right? So, but I almost can't believe that Netoro couldn't 1v1 a guard. Like even if it's a close battle, I have to believe Netoro could take on one royal guard. Surely, like you have to. I'm not gonna believe that's not possible unless I see it. That's gonna be how that is. The king I can believe. The king I'm sure is pretty stupidly powerful, but Netoro, he's pretty powerful himself. He can at least take on a guard, but you know, it's not like I have any real concrete basis for that. It's just all feelings at the end of the day. And an actual fight could definitely prove that wrong, so we'll see if we get that. But Netoro didn't seem too discouraged by that, you know? I guess he just wants to fight strong opponents, which is pretty typical for strong characters. You know, I know Hisoka was kind of like that. We haven't seen Hisoka in a long time, have we? Which feels weird, because Hisoka is one of those characters that is kind of associated with this show. Before I even started watching it, I was familiar with Hisoka's character design and all that, so to have him not be a part of it for so long, it is kind of weird. But I can say the same thing about Leorio and Kurapika. You know, they haven't been in the show for a while either. Oh, it would be nice to have them back. But, oh well. I mean, they all have their own lives at the end of the day. They got their stuff to do. So, anyway, moving on. We had the scene where we're trying to save the queen, right? And it doesn't go well. She does die in the end. But they definitely tried to have, like, a lot of emotion to the scene. A lot of, my queen, no, you can't leave me. And the queen, even on her deathbed, even after being treated so poorly by her son, the king, still, that's all she's worried about. Is my boy okay? Tell him I love him. She didn't actually say that, I don't think, but she said this is his name, give him the message, all that stuff. You know, it was almost enough to make me feel something, but I couldn't shake the fact that I hate these people. You know, they've just been the worst for so long that I really can't feel bad for that queen. I just can't do it. She is a source of all of this, you know. She is a source of all of the pain and suffering and death and loss and crying and everything horrible that's happened in the past 50 or so episodes. She's the root of it all, you know. So I can't do it. I can't feel bad for that thing. I just can't do it. Colt, I feel a little bit bad for. Mostly because, you know, Colt, his backstory with, you know, the boy that he was kind of a part of, like, he's part of his base, you know, the whole human boy, the sister, that whole thing. Like, you know, I do kind of associate that with Colt, even though they're not really the same person, but they're close enough that I do kind of associate them. So Colt, and just in general has been one of the more decent members of their group, and even went as far as to try to ally with the enemy to save the queen. You know, there's so much loyalty there that I do kind of care about Colt. I do kind of like Colt, and I do feel a little bit bad for Colt. That's about it. Pretty much everybody else in this Chimera army, screw them. They can die in a fire for all I care. I just want to make my stance on that pretty clear. But then we had the baby. Yeah, I mean, through most of the scene, my emotions were not getting that high. But once I saw the little tiny baby that looked extremely human, and I just immediately knew that Colt would take this as a chance to, you know, somewhat redeem himself, you know, help the queen, that kind of thing. That's when my emotions got to probably its highest point in this scene, if that makes sense. Like, it looks so just human, lifelike, just so tiny. Like, if you breathe too hard, it would fly away kind of tininess. So that was really unexpected. That really just, that kind of got me. And I especially, like I said, I got worried when the one guy walks forward with his weapon. I thought for sure it was going to be like, well, there's a little bit left, let's take care of it. But luckily it did not go that way. Luckily. And then, of course, it shows the pictures of the family and all that. And yeah. For most of the scene, I didn't feel much, but near the end, I definitely did. So that was that. And then we just had, you know, like I said, the Gon stuff, him popping back up, some talk about Kite and what a cool guy he is. And then we had our duo kind of walking around the place, and they found something. They found something that I think is partially kite. I don't know. I don't know what they've done to kites. Just, it's got the kite hair, it's got what looks like a stitching beneath the eye. I don't know how much of kite is left in this, whatever this is. I really just don't want to think about it. And then we saw the would-be kings all running around, killing people, doing their own thing, trying to sculpt out their own part of the world to make their own nest and cause so much more death and destruction and horror. And that's where we're at in this happy anime, guys. That's where we're at. So, yeah, things have definitely changed a lot. Things have definitely went in directions I did not expect, which I guess is one of the biggest praises I've seen for, you know, Hunter x Hunter. The fact that it is a very, you know, cool, well-written, unique, you know, kind of story, right? That's not the kind of thing you can predict super well. So, and I'm definitely feeling that. That's for sure. That's definitely for sure. So, yeah, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here, really? Like, we have to stop the kings that are spread out, right? That's got to be a priority, I have to believe. Because we can't let that go for too long, because the longer we do, the more they can build up in their respective locations, build up a nest, build up an army, and things get out of hand pretty quickly if we let that happen. So, surely we stop them before it gets to that point, but we haven't talked about that too much, I don't think. And I wonder if anything will come of the baby. Like, will the baby grow up to be kind of like a second king? You know, also pretty powerful. Maybe help us fight. Maybe. Otherwise, not sure what role that little baby could have. Just look at it. I can't believe how tiny it was. Like, that was just... That was so tiny. Like, how do you even take care of a baby that small? What do you feed it? Like, I don't... That's gotta be difficult to take care of a baby that small. So yeah, that's all I got to say. That's really all I got to say. Just the show's in an interesting position right now, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things go. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to Cnouki and Ryan for supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you consider clicking the like button and leaving a comment, because that's a great and easy way to let me know that people want more. If you want to do something big to help the channel, you can support me on Patreon and get nice benefits like early access to certain videos. See you next time.